Hey guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, 𝐬𝐲𝐬𝐲 Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. But today, I have some legends in the building. I have to give them all their flowers because these men right here, I'm truly honored to have them on the platform. Well, congratulations in order because now y'all have won a Grammy. Now I have to call y'all Grammy Award.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, Grammy Award. Soul alternative group, but not even that. I don't know if I could just say 2/4, one half of the We Sound Crazy podcast. I know it's for y'all. It ain't two, it's for y'all. But I mean, just honored to have these two men on the platform, but not that the dynamic duo. Also, the label owners of Widow Workshop, the one, the only Louis York. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Chastity, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Look, I'm just honored to have you because I mean, you have worked with so many legends, but the music that you have made, I'm honored to even talk about it, but not even to talk about all the legendary things that you guys have done, and not even that we're gonna talk about Heaven Bound and your new album that's coming out. But before we do get started, I want to ask you guys, because we've been in kind of like a crazy pandemic. How have you guys been doing?
We've been doing good, man. We've been making it through. I always say now, like, I really understand the power of music because it's really helped me through the craziest time of my life. I was uncertain about everything but music. You know what I'm saying? That's what kept me grounded. That's what kept me focused. That's what kept me dreaming. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people lost hope during that time. So it's really music that kind of, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it really saved me because that was the craziest thing I've ever been through.
It definitely was.
Right, preach. I mean, you know what I'm saying, Claude? Like, how do you feel? Like, was it the same thing too? Like, it was just music just kept y'all just y'all mind sane and just making sure that the focus was on the love of music, but not at the heart of what y'all do.
No, definitely, it was the same for me. We were blessed enough to be able to have a place to work that was isolated and safe the whole time, which is not the case for a lot of musicians. So we were able to actually write music, produce music, rehearse music, like, really just do things creatively. And I don't take that for granted because I know that, what we also learned was how hard it is to do this when you don't have an audience anymore, when you don't have people to connect with. So our tribe was all down here in Nashville in a safe space. We kind of huddled together. So us and the Shindellas were able to feed off of each other. And so I'm grateful for that too, like just having your community around you of people that you realize are not just doing it for the hip, but are doing it for the medicine of what music can be.
Come on, preach.
It was good. I mean, like Chuck said, it was also very scary, and continues to be confusing and scary to this day. But every day we're pushing forward.
Come on, look, give me that deep fried veggie music. That's what we need.
Exactly.
But yes, thank you guys so much, and I'm so happy that you guys, made it through this pandemic. We're still kind of going through it, but not even that, the music is just keeping y'all going, and not even just giving the love of music. So before I always go on my platform, I get started. I want people to know who you are, Claude and Chuck. So I know you guys are from your respective hometowns, East St. Louis, and not even that New York, but I know that's kind of like the name of your stuff. I don't want to get too carried away with it, but I wanted to ask you guys, how was it like growing up from your respective hometowns, but not even that, how did you, like I said, get the name Louis York, but not that, how did you, what was it like growing up, and I know who was like your inspirations in R&B music or just music in general?
You go first? Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Lower East Side Manhattan, so already kind of an eclectic place. Like New York is already a melting pot. So I think that's the biggest factor in how I hear music, right? It's like I grew up where literally the city itself has a soundtrack, and just the sound of the city and the horns and the noise and all that stuff kind of gives. And then it was like New York hip hop in the 90s and R&B in the 90s. I was a big Bad Boy family from New York, a big fan. Because they were like doing music that looked like me.
Come on.
Right? But I also grew up with classical music, and I grew up in an Episcopal church. So you get all this stuff. You get everything from like classical and jazz in New York City, and church music to hip hop and R&B, and they're growing up downtown, a really big grunge rock scene, Green Day and No Doubt and all that stuff. So I hear a lot, and I hear all that in my head every day. But I really think I'm a product of the Lower East Side of Manhattan, because that's what downtown feels like. It's just everything all at once.
Makes perfect sense because I get the mixture of your music. I know we're gonna get deep into that, but I love that you talked about all facets of music, not just like the R&B and just hip hop, but not even that you went into rock. And I love rock, so rock is like my favorite. You know what I'm saying? So people,
every block was, and if anyone who's been in New York City, you know this. Every city block you walk is a totally different vibe.
Yeah,
different smells, different people, and that's kind of how I absorbed it. Was like it was all possible because I was seeing all of that.
That is amazing. That's amazing. So, Chuck, I get this thing with the St. Louis stuff because I've had a lot of people come on my platform, and I know it's a certain way of, St. Louis. How was it going with East St. Louis? Because I know everybody's very sensitive about where in St. Louis y'all from. So, how was it like growing up for you in East St. Louis?
Man, East St. Louis was a real teacher. It's not the easiest place to grow up in, but you learn a lot about yourself. And one thing that I learned about myself was to keep to myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not to stay alive. You feel me? And so in that regards, it really shaped the, you know how they say if you can make it out of here, you can make it out of anywhere.
Make it anywhere. Mm-hmm.
I made it out of there. So it really shapes how I feel about myself and how bold I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, East St. Louis is a part of just the Midwest swag, the Midwest swing of things. And so I definitely always hear that in my music. I see that when we take photos and all that kind. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the Midwest. That's the St. Louis connection. So it really was influential. You know what I'm saying? Like when people hear, and to Claude's point, I had an eclectic upbringing too, because I grew up on, of course, I went through church, but it was jazz that really touched me. Oh. It was contemporary Christian music that really touched me, and classical music. You know what I'm saying? And so it just, all of that mixed with who I am and where I'm from just bring up this really eclectic way of thinking about music. And that's what Louis York is. It's our eclectic way of thinking about music.
Exactly, because let me tell you, I Enjoy You. That is my favorite song by y'all.
Let me
tell you, I'm a big Natalie Cole fan, so that reminds me of that move, that groove, but not even that makes perfect sense of Holloway. And I love that you talked about eclectic of your sound, because for me, I feel like y'all have this modern sound, electric pop, rock, alternative. Like I said, it's a mixture of genres. Like we call it the gumbo in Louisiana. I'm from Baton Rouge, so like I said, Louisiana is a gumbo and a mixture. But I love I Enjoy You. Like that is a song that I have played over and over. Because I'm an R&B, I'm a ballad type of girl. I love ballads. But not even that, I just feel that the mixture of you guys of what you do with your music, it makes perfect sense. I don't hear just not R&B, because I know for me, when I listen to your music, I feel like when I hear like two type of sounds, like it can lead into the beginning and then it flips to something else. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it was, but not even that, it made me sit and listen. I'm like, wait a minute, these guys don't just take one sound. They take multiple sounds and put it on one track. And I was like,
exactly.
Now I see who Louis York is, but exactly. So you guys, I wanted to ask you. So this is the beginning. We're talking about who you are as people. Like, how was it? How did you get your big break in the music industry? Like, how did that start? Like, was it after you went to school, or was it like, how did you get in that transition into the music industry?
Yeah, I think for both of us it was very similar. I mean, we went to different music schools and different colleges, obviously. At that time, still knowing we're going to be musicians, right? But not knowing how and when. Yeah. Now we wear many hats, but what kind of kicked in the door was songwriting and producing for us, which I guess is considered behind the scenes, but it's actually the most influential part of the music industry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It determines the sound, the trend, the language, the vibe, the culture, the fashion. It all is determined in that creative room, that writing room, or that studio. So. I don't want to abbreviate, but speaking for both of us, like how it started is actually very similar, even though we didn't even know each other at that point. Is that kind of had this desire to be in the music business and write and produce for people, and both ended up working with some of the biggest artists in the business early on, like Celine Dion and Neo and Akon for me, and Whitney Houston and all that kind of stuff, Britney Spears. And I think achieving that early on allowed us to be a lot more daring in our creative process after that, because you kind of get past that hump of will the people we love even like what we do? That was confirmed really early.
a calling on your lives.
so then the new calling becomes, what are you going to do with it?
That makes sense.
Now, are you going to make it? Now you're like, I got that for you. Now, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to push the envelope? Are you going to make your own footprint?
Yeah.
And that's kind of been what me and Chuck have been setting out to do ever since then. First, behind the scenes as Claude Kelly and Chuck Harmony, who've written for Everyone You Know and for lots of your people. And then as Louis York in front, because a lot of what we were trying to express wasn't being done by anybody else. So it had to be us to say it and do it. That
makes perfect sense, because I know you were just saying about the people that you wrote for in the 2000s. It's so crazy because both of you guys have a lot to celebrate this year, 15th anniversary. Like, you know, Claude, you got Brandy, you know, my favorite artist of all time. Human, that's making 15 years. And then Chuck, you got Neo. Come on now, like, y'all 15, like, come on, like, ain't nobody gonna beat y'all with all that. But I think it's super amazing that you said with the songwriting, because I love that you said that's the most influential place. That is so true, because people don't understand that. People just think that the artist is the person that, you know, writes the songs, all that stuff. No, that's not true. It takes a team. It takes a creative process. And I love that you guys said that you really felt that your inspiration of what you did with songwriting and everything else, you wanted to take that and make it into your own. You don't have control of your own music. And I love that, because I think people don't understand that.
No, I mean, a lot of what's happening in R&B right now sounds like things that Chuck was introducing with Jasmine and Fantasia, and with Neo, Chrisette, Michelle, 15 years ago. Like the chord changes, the bobbiness thing. I hear it on Her's album. I hear it with Daniel Caesar. I hear it with all that stuff going on right now. I'm like, that sounds like what Chuck was saying could be possible.
So true.
Chord-wise, tempo-wise, mood-wise, years ago. So you really do make an impact.
Yeah.
So it's our job to keep on making an impact. Like, we can't live in the past. We're very proud of that stuff. But it's like, if that was baby Claude and Chuck, then imagine what we can do now. Come
on, exactly. 15 plus years later, and that's why I love what you said about like Camouflage. You know, like I said, you know, the album's making 15 years. Camouflage and How Well I Feel remind me of the same thing, the inspirational side of things. And so I was like, wow, these songs is really touching, like slow motion. That one right there, I was like, make you, you know, catch feelings, but not even that. It just makes you feel that you're in a positive place. And that's what I'm learning about your music. Like, you guys, you know, you talk about a lot of stuff. I was listening to Claire Huxtable today, and Limelight. There has one that shows the positive side that makes you understand about the woman should be like not even an upstanding woman, and not even that a woman of, you know, empowerment. A woman of really is about her business. And then when I look at Limelight, it talks about the fame of a person and not even at the downfall. So I'm like, okay, I see these dynamics that they're doing, but at the same time, is they want to give a message and understand the positivity of what it is to be yourself in the music industry, if that makes sense. So that's why you said what?
You get it. You get us.
Yeah, I get y'all, because I'm telling you, I enjoy it. That's my heart right there. That's the one that's probably gonna be the sucker for me, because I'm a sucker for that. But not even that, I got to understand, you know, the eclectic of your music. It wasn't even the point I was listening to R&B. I listened to inspiration. I listened to gospel. I feel like the foundation of your music is a gospel, you know, gospel background. But not even that, I can see the inspiration of going into rock, you know, hip hop, something of that nature that makes me understand of why Louis York is who they are. They're not your average dynamic duo, because you remind me of Roof Theory a little bit with that sound and what they do, but not even that. I was like, okay, Louis York is not your average dynamic duo. You know what I'm saying? You are really beyond your music for what you do, you know?
Thank you.
No, that's why I like Claire Huxtable, but they made perfect sense. I was like, I get the dynamic of the music. Makes perfect sense. Thank you guys, you know, for just talking about your legacy. But I know I wanted to ask you, like, how did you guys meet? I heard it was like Chrisette Michelle's Epiphany album, the Fragile song. So was it that your first time meeting together with that, or like how did that come about after you've done all these hits for all these people?
Yeah, it's a guy that worked with me, my longtime engineer. He actually introduced me to Claude's music. A year prior to meeting him, and then Steve Ferreira, an A&R from Def Jam, he put us together to work on the Chrisette Michelle album, and so that was our first time going in the studio. We knew it was magic, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like when people get you, they get you. You know what I'm saying? That's not often. You know, you can make a good song. I've made good songs with people, and made good songs with people. We made great songs with other people, but when somebody gets you, they get you. You know what I'm saying? When you speak in the same language, the same time and the same tempo, then that's a rare collaboration.
Yeah.
And so we've been on it, you know what I'm saying?
Since Fragile. First day we met, we did Fragile, and we haven't done a bad song since, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't, because y'all gave Fantasia her first Grammy, Bittersweet. Everybody in my hometown in Louisiana, we played that so much.
Yeah. Bittersweet.
That was my heart. Like Fantasia, I remember her career from the man, but Bittersweet was that one. It really just touched everybody. That was a great album, and not even that, a great song y'all did for her, because it just set the tone. I feel like for her career, but not that, it showed the deep soul of what she wanted to do. And Bittersweet, that was like her life. It makes sense in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It's autobiographical for sure.
Yeah, and that's why it works the way y'all work. And I love that you guys. So since after that you did the Crusade, like, did y'all just form this duo and then just started doing your own solo stuff, or how did that kind of like this transition? Did you like leave and then become independent? How did that kind of transition into you guys just go on Louis York?
There's a long window where we were just working in the business together sometimes. So
yeah,
that was our meeting point. And then after that, like we did Fantasia, we did lots of stuff together, lots of stuff. And then he was still making hits on his own. I was making hits on my own. It wasn't until 2015 we were both at that point living both in New York City and sharing a studio. And we had enough time in between the sessions to have conversations about where we were at in our careers, where we were at in life, and what was fulfilling, what wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, this business is a hamster wheel. You can be working so fast, and you know people, but you don't really get to keep it real.
Amen.
And people don't keep it real with you. So it was refreshing to have someone that I respected, like in the same studio with me. And those conversations were profound and deep and honest about what we loved and what was missing from our life and from the music business.
Yeah.
We learned together and just apart. And it was those conversations that led to us being like, either we're going to quit music right now, or we're going to do something to fill in the gaps of what we think is missing. And it's all, for Chuck and I, it always starts with music. So we started just creating songs during and after those conversations that felt like what was needed. And that was the first songs were the first songs of Louis York. We did it wasn't a plan. It was Slow Motion and Claire Huxtable was one of the early ones. Tylenol, those early songs we did are some of the first songs we did. And when we heard them back, we were like, no, someone's got to say this. Someone's got to put this out. And that's what kind of directed us becoming Louis York, and then plotting a way to take care of this new mission we were on, which is what led to us and having starting our company Weirdo Workshop and kind of going on a mission officially together to do music like this.
That makes perfect sense. I was just about to say, remind me of Lauryn Hill, bridging the gap together and just making sure that, you know, that just because I'm not a part of, you know, I'm still in the music industry, but at the end of the day, I want to do it my way, have creative control. Yeah. And that's what I love about you guys. Like, you have these conversations, be honest and real about, you know, music, but not even that. What do you want for your legacy? And that makes perfect sense, because for me, like, I was looking at your album, your EPs and stuff, like Masterpiece 1, Act 1, 2, and 3, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting from each dynamic, but it's still kind of like the same formula, but it's just very different from what you were doing. I was looking at your album covers, and I seen something about the eye, like the color of the eye. Like, was that symbolism, like symbolic or something of why, where your transition of music, or how did you want to like a certain sound?
That's so interesting. It's been so long since we talked about the eye, right?
Yeah.
I look at the eye, I was like, this must mean something. Look.
Hindsight's 2020. At the time, if I remember correctly, the idea for the eye was that we were also trying to define who Louis York was, right? And we wanted people to think Louis York sounds like one person. Mm-hmm. We wanted people to understand that we were a band and not just two guys from behind the scenes that were doing a fun product together. So there was that week that we didn't put ourselves on the cover on purpose so that people would take the band seriously. And I think the eye was also like almost like a vision thing, like see through, like look beyond what you and really listen. And I was like, I mean, in the early days, we were so hype and so, you know, just passionate about clawing our way out of our depression.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff on the first album is about accepting your path and your journey and seeing things clearer, doing your homework. Like, we did a lot of spiritual work coming into Louis York, like questioning things about religion and reading books and challenging ourselves. And that part didn't get fully explained, because obviously, you know, you can't explain everything in your first project, but there's a really big intellectual, spiritual aspect to that music coming out, and I think the I represents that part.
That makes perfect. And that's why we got American. That's why American Real. So, like I said, No Regrets. That's the one I like too. That's one of my favorites. I do like that for y'all because that song reminds me of Luther Vandross's "Stop to Love." Like that reminds me because when I listen, I'm like, No Regrets. That's the one I kept playing over and over too.
Yeah.
But for me, I remind me was like a homage to Luther in a way, a little bit. But like I said, I love that you said like this is like your American soul sound of what you're doing in the new decade, and that makes perfect sense. And that's why. With you guys, I love the way your sound is. You're not just hitting one genre. And I think because, even though I do my platform about R&B music, I notice with R&B music, we talk about rhythm and blues, but I know what is the rhythm aspect? You know what I'm saying? We always get the blues aspect, but there's always a rhythm to that. And I feel that, like we always said, music has no genres, it has no labels. It's just music, And yeah, go ahead. Go.
No, I say it's really tricky because, I think we've put ourselves as musicians in a box with the labels, right?
Yes.
So R&B has become almost a title for anything that Black people do that's melodic.
Yeah.
If it's not hip hop, it's R&B.
It's
right?
R&B. Mm-hmm.
And that's okay if we also understand that R&B encompasses a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, a big part of what we do is try to remind people that there's lots of different sounds and tempos and tones and ideas that can be encompassed in Black music. It doesn't have to be one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And if the genres are there, then so be it. But let's open our minds to what can be in those genres and what it can sound like and look like.
I agree because that's why when I listen to some of the tracks, you can start off with, I know with some of your songs, you start off with one sound and then it transitions to something else. So I'm like, wait a minute, they're not just doing one sound, they're doing multiple sounds, but making sense on how the transition is with music, period. It doesn't have to be R&B. It makes perfect sense. So I know you guys, I know you're talking about, Louis York and everything you've done. So I know you transitioned now, have moved to Tennessee. So how has that transition been like, moving from Tennessee to your respective, where you're from, but not even that, how was that transition very different? And not even that, how do you feel now, the home of music of Tennessee, how do you feel like moving down there versus from where you're from now?
Tennessee has been so good to us. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of the best decisions I've ever made as a musician. You know what I'm saying? We were just at a certain point in life where we also wanted to find our way as grown men in music, and sometimes we be playing childish games until we in our 60s and 70s. You know what I'm saying? And so we didn't want to be those guys, and so Nashville was not only a music-based decision; it was also a lifestyle decision. It's been good to us. They've opened their arms and embraced us as us. Like we didn't come down here starting doing country music. Like we've been doing our thing. Like we've been on Grand Ole Opry stages and CMA stages and all of those things, just being us. And so in that regard, I could never say anything bad about Nashville or our move to it. It really was a game changer for our band, Louis Short, our company, and the Shindellas. We put them together.
Here.
So Nashville, Tennessee.
It feels like home.
Right, there you go, just like home. And that's why I said the southern home feeling style, but not even that. I think for you guys, I love that you talked about that because people don't, like we talk about Tennessee on certain things because of country, but like I said, there's a lot of people that are in Tennessee that are doing right things, not just country. You know what I'm saying? So people kind of get that stigma with that, but I love that you guys have done that and now I'm doing a lot of stuff. But I want to wish you congratulations because now you are Grammy bound.
Hey.
Yes. But not even that, you have made history with the first HBCU, Tennessee State University. Like, how does that feel with Irving? How did you feel the reaction when you did win that Grammy with the band, and not that make history for your legacy, but not even that for, what you do with We Sound Crazy with the African American Museum, with all that stuff that y'all do. How does it feel being a part of something monumental, but not even that being, historical and Black history,
It feels important. it feels damn good. All right. I'm not even trying to play the humble card. It feels good. We work very hard. I believe there are times before where we were, technically I felt like we deserved it, but the timing is always perfect because this time was triply special. First of all, for historic reasons, for for TSU and for the students and for HBCUs and for Black marching bands, this is a big win, and so it's an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Also, us moving to Nashville and Lewis, York was a huge risk. It wasn't easy. We've had a lot of opposition. We've had a lot of, hurdles to cross betting on ourselves. And so winning as Lewis York in Tennessee for something that we also took a bet on, the project itself, is such huge confirmation that we're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
That it means more than if we had won for best R&B song for Bittersweet, or for things we have been nominated. We've been nominated several times before and lost for one reason or another. But this one, the timing was perfect. And then considering that we have a new album coming, that we want people to take even more serious than anything we've ever heard from us before, and it's our best work.
Oh.
This is God giving us an alley-oop before we come back stronger. So boost to our confidence and a boost to anyone who's paying attention that, this is really, it's formidable. It's what we said it was, and it's only going to get better.
Blessings on blessings, like y'all did in the song. Come on.
Shout out to the Baptist. It was his vision. Him and Professor Larry. And I mean, it was a really smart, heartfelt, cultural idea that was long overdue. But I mean, he really pushed for it, and we were happy to be a part with Donald Lawrence, who's legendary.
Yes.
So, it was a no-brainer, but yeah, we're happy.
I'm happy because I'm a graduate of an HBCU myself. I went to Wiley College. So seeing that historical moment for me, it just meant the world for me, because I was so proud to see our people, be recognized, but not even that, even marching bands. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about musicians. That's why with you guys, like with your music, and I wanted to say this too, you have a lot of instrumentation that I hear in your music that we're missing now in R&B or just in general in music, period. Mm-hmm. But I think the win for me is seeing that as a HBC graduate meant the world to me, because I was so proud to see our HBCUs being recognized for music, finally what we done, but not that for gospel, the foundation of what music is all about. And I love that you guys won that. And I know you cut up when y'all won.
I definitely took a shot. Took a shot and turned up a little bit, because I mean, one thing we learned from this process about this being in the business long enough is that you gotta celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because a lot of people don't want you to win, and a lot of tough days as a musician, hard days where you don't know what's going on, and people telling you no back to back to back to back. So one day that you get a yes, or you're doing a good job, a gold star, don't steal your joy and celebrate that. You got to celebrate that. Yeah.
Well, I have to call you Grammy Award now, so you have that title forever and a day.
Exactly.
I do. And congratulations, guys. But I know definitely we're going to talk about Widow Workshop, and you are label owners now, so congratulations on that as well. How is it like now owning a label, doing what you want to do, but not that you have the beautiful ladies behind you, the Shandellas? How is it like doing your stuff now with Widow Workshop versus to, back then when you were doing your own thing, dealing with the music industry? How is it now with Widow Workshop, and what brings you so much joy doing your own things?
Being a label owner is much harder than it looks.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But the joy comes out. The joy comes through the output. You know what I'm saying? Like when you say the name Shandellas, I'm gonna always have a good feeling in my heart, because I watched three ladies move to Nashville, not even knowing each other, and took a risk on a dream that we just had in our heads about and made it come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? On TV and on films and on any medium possible. The Shandellas have graced the stages and medium. So it's hard, but it's so doggone rewarding. You can't help but get addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Lewis York, we've been able to do some really fascinating things that if you'd have told me in 2007 I'd be doing that as an artist, I'd have been like, you're crazy. No way, you're crazy. That don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? But those kinds of things has happened, and it just what it's taught me is the value of faith, because the independent job, you can't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to break a company. Like, neither one of us has broke a company before. Like, not like that. You know, we have the business as songwriters and producers, but so it's a faith walk, and it just strengthens you. You know what I'm saying? Like we some lions now. Like
come on.
before, you know what I'm saying? Before we just had, and there's some humbleness to it, but we got the battle scars, and so we know what we're worth. We know who we are as musicians, as people, as business owners. So it's been so good for me.
Oh, I love that, because I love that you said know your worth and not even at the faith. And I think because of the faith of what you guys have done in your careers is so monumental, because like I said, guys, you took what God has given you guys, and not even that you kept the faith, and not even that at the end of the day you did it on your own terms and your own merit. And I respect that, because for me, I love when my artists, like everybody who comes in independent, they're doing things on their own that nobody's not telling them what to do. You're doing things because you love it in your heart. And I love that, because like I said, I love when my people, you know, go out and do their own thing, because like I said, it's a risk, but I always say it's a reward at the end. And I think the risk and the reward that you guys have done in this legacy is just amazing. So I'm super proud of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now, guys, we're talking about your current single, Heaven Bound, that I heard featuring Jessie J. Baby, let me tell you something. I heard that song when you told her to finish at the end. I said, oh, she finished it at the end, but you were along with her. And then Chuck, you on that piano beautifully, like, it was just everything. I love instruments. I guess, I don't know if it was the cue. Like I said, this is new, so I don't know what's the significance behind Heaven Bound, but I love when you said keep your feet off the ground. Like, you want to be heaven bound. I'm kind of understanding what it is, but what is the significance behind it? But not even that. What made you kind of go on this thing? And I know y'all getting ready to have a new album, Songs with Friends. So like, how is this all transitioning into what you're doing now in 2023?
Well, first of all, thank you, because this is brand spanking new music, so know that it's being received well is awesome. But the new album is actually called Songs with Friends.
Yeah.
And it's a collaboration with a lot of people that we love very dearly. Jessie is one of them. And a big thing that we learned in the process between American Griots and now, which there was a pandemic in between there and a lot of life lessons, a lot of things that we went through, was that not in a cheesy way, but you really do need people.
Yes.
Not just in a performative way or to get a leg up, like, or to use each other, but you need people.
Yeah.
It's for your own health, for their own health. We need people. So we let our guard down, and we opened up a lot to people that we love and respect, that we feel like we can grow together with, who lift us. So that song, first one, obviously, is with Jessie, and all three of us have a really rich history of big songs together. We've known each other for years. But the top of the song, and even the way we connect on the song, is a reflection of what this new wave is for us. It's about knowing you're worthy enough to fly.
Yeah.
Knowing you're worthy enough and believing in yourself enough to be a lot lighter. And like the first verse, she says, I got a pocket full of stones and I could sink to the bottom. And the poetry of this, we all got a bunch of problems that we're holding on to in our pockets that could sink us. But regardless of that, we still want to be going upwards. Like, we're not going to let any of that hold us down. And we're going to do it together. So you're going to hear us and Jessie on the 17th of March. That comes out. We're super excited. But you're going to hear us celebrating music and being creative in that same way with a lot of other friends.
Ooh. Well, I don't know you're going to drop any friends, but I hope, like I said, I can't wait to see what this album is going to be, but I know it's going to be dope.
It's going to be fun. Trust me. It's not only is it our best music, but I will say this about friends who are on the album. We got them performing, singing, playing, whatever I'm going to leave that pretty loose. At top-notch levels. I'm talking about some of the best vocals you heard from some of these people, some of the best duets, interpretations. I'm a fan. I'm blown away, and it's the music that we worked on. So,
right. Oh my God.
I can't believe it. Starting with Jessie, who you hear is doing some stuff on that song that can't nobody else do.
And she pregnant doing it. Look.
And doing it.
Right. So,
hanging flat-footed.
Okay, ain't no way, ain't no excuse.
No excuses.
Singing, she got a whole baby in her. Look.
Everyone's gonna need to step their game up a little bit when they see what we're all bringing to the table in terms of this music. This guy right here is like the music.
Oh, Doug, I'm ready. Don't play no games, because I hear you on that piano, honey. Look.
I'm bringing my best on this album for sure.
I think, and I know, obviously, we know the Shadellas will be on here. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know they're gonna be on there, obviously. But I'm
included.
exactly. Look, but it's just so amazing that you guys have done amazing stuff, and I'm so excited because, like I said, just listening to Heaven Bound, it was very empowering, and I was doing my little boom, 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 just getting into the beat because you can tell it's very soulful, it's very inspirational, like what you've already done with your previous projects. But I think this right here, what you start off with, is super great, and I'm really proud of you guys that you guys are really, really finna set an album. We're finna have out with Louis York, but not even that, setting so many monumental things for your career because now you've won a Grammy. You want so much other stuff, but my thing about it is, what do you like? What is the thing that you want people to understand from this new album that you have coming out?
Ooh. I mean, I want people to understand that we believe in the power of collaboration. That's what Louis York represents. You know what I'm saying? Because we were forces by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We could each continue down our own paths and thrive, but it was coming together and taking that chance with and forming that brotherhood. All of those things just add to a better quality of life. You know what I'm saying? I grow every day being around this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I get better. My musicianship gets sharper because now I know what I know and I know a lot of what he know and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And so the power of collaboration is key. And so Songs with Friends is that's what it's about. It's just like, yo, like we're getting to write songs and make music and perform with some of the best vocalists in the music business. You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited. I love duets.
and the power of collaboration. Hopefully, if all stars align, you will see the power of collaboration because these songs and these collaborations going to take us to places, a lot of big places that we can't even fathom yet. Like I couldn't even fathom that I'd be in London performing Heaven Bound live for a sold out show with Jessie J, the pop star. I couldn't have fathomed that. Like even when we did the song, I still didn't fathom that. But that's what happened.
Louis York, child, please look.
But teach you to dream bigger. That's the whole thing. Is make you dream bigger.
Yeah. And so I want people to get that from us. Like let's stop being islands, man. Like we could do some real life-changing things if we do it together. You know what I'm saying?
Better together.
We're better together.
Exactly. United together more than we are love. We're better, stronger. Like I always say this, the head can't live without the tail can't live without the head. We always have to be a strong force. So I'm just really proud of you guys. I have one more question to ask you guys. I want to ask you because I know you guys are singers, songwriters, producers, but I do have a question. I want to ask you, what is your best thing? Do you like hosting your show, We Sound Crazy, or do you like doing your music thing?
Oh, which one do we like more?
Yeah,
That's not fair to We Sound Crazy because music is our love, right?
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna say this though.
Okay.
Shout out to Phil Thornton, who is one of the co-hosts of We Sound Crazy, right?
Yes.
He saw something that we didn't fully see. He kept saying we should do a podcast. And podcasts obviously are very popular, but We Sound Crazy is a little different. It's it's certainly a podcast, but what we've tapped into, the four of us, Timon as well, is a part of our talent that I knew was there, but didn't really know how to bring out. Long enough, and same thing for Phil to say the same thing. It's become a platform for us to express our intellect, which a lot of times, if I'm also keeping real, the music industry doesn't necessarily. You don't have to be smart to be in the music business.
Amen.
You have to be catchy or trendy, and if you're lucky, good at music. But Chuck and I are brainiacs. We're nerds of music, and we're nerds about life and about culture and things like that. So I've really grown to love We Sound Crazy and the platform it gives us almost equally because it allows people to see what we're thinking about, what we're reading, who we know, not for the fame aspect, but who we know, meaning like who we're learning from.
Amen.
Inspiring us to do, the music we do. You may not hear the music, but yes, we sat and we talked to Jacquees and we had a good conversation with him. We also talked to the head of Uncle Nearest, this Fawn Weaver, who's a brilliant businesswoman, and we've talked to Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've talked to Tamar Braxton, and we've talked to Jimmy Jam. And so it starts to show you that there's a method behind our madness as artists in the world right now. Isn't just the guy behind the piano, he's an intellectual person who expresses himself with the piano. He's a thinker, a philosopher that spits out his theories, his thesis, his all that stuff through music, and the same for me. So more than anything, Chuck and I want respect and understanding. More than fame and the money, it's like we want you to know that we had a point of view in this world. And so any platform that allows us to speak our mind, even if you don't like it, well, that's not the point. It's just to know that we had an opinion about something. And if that leads to the music, which is a deeper opinion, so be it. But any platform that allows us to express ourselves as well thought, well studied Black men, especially nowadays, is a part of my passion. So it's kind of all together now.
And that's why I support you guys, because Midnight R&B Edition supports a We Sound Crazy podcast, because
thank you.
I love, my favorite interview for y'all was Tevin. Like, I watched that interview about 3 times. I did. What? Tevin, that's Texas. That's home right there. That's family. Like, what y'all did with Tevin, because like I said, it's very rare to get him to do anything, because it had been so many years, but the seeing that was so refreshing and just so monumental, because people, you know, always forget about the ones who came before them. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, Tevin Campbell is amazing, and what We Sound Crazy podcast, what y'all doing, and African, everything y'all doing is everything for the culture, and that's what I love about you guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I get to understand so much, not on an intellectual level. Like, even though everybody thinks, oh, I know everything. No, I don't know everything. At the end of the day, it's all about research and understanding. The thing about who laid the legacy, but not even that, who laid the foundation. So now, okay, Tevin laid the foundation. Boom, I can understand why Chris Brown who he is. I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand why this person is who they are. I get it, because it all makes sense. It all has lead from the beginning, and that's what I love about you guys. So I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I know we're gonna be in it, but I do want to ask you one more question, because I know y'all are celebrating 15 anniversaries. Like, do you have any great memories with Brandy, Claude, and I didn't know, do you have a memory of Neo or anything with the time when y'all did these albums that will be coming up in 15 years in a couple months?
I can't believe it's been 15 years.
Yeah, and you know, look, everybody love Human. Brandy bigged up Human. Yes, she did.
As she should.
As she should. That's
Human was dope for me, because I love, like everyone else as a singer, I love Brandy, right? And she, Full Moon, which is I think just celebrated anniversary, Full Moon and all this are like super big influences for me, for the R&B head that I have. I love R&B. But those songs were actually originally for True was originally for Michael Jackson, and Camouflage was something I did with Rodney, not knowing who it'd be for. So again, like I said early on, being able to work with people that you idolized was good, because then I was able to dream beyond that. So I'm really proud of the Camouflage, that people still love it, because that means that little young me wasn't crazy. I was still talking about some stuff back then. Like, it makes sense. But I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm proud of all those records. I don't really regret anything.
And you should, and that's why we always gonna give Human the respect that and the love that deserves. But what, like, Camouflage is a fan favorite. Everybody and mama love Camouflage. Everybody who's a star is a fan favorite.
I don't know why that wasn't a single.
The album was
weird.
A single. Sorry.
It would have been perfect after Long Distance, but hey, look, hey, it is what it is. Hey, but I'm mad at Human. It's going to be 15 years old, so congratulations on that, Claude. Now, Chuck, how was it? Now, you know you worked on Part of This. I used to watch it on VH1 Soul when I was in college. Y'all are my college years. This is my college undergrad years. So, you know, you guys were really around my college times that I really got to learn about, you know, the 2008 music. So how was it working with Neo when you did Part of the List? And you did Stop in the World, but I like Part of the List. That was my jam.
Yeah, I mean, Part of the List was one of them things where I was just trying to show a different side of myself. You know, when I first got into business, even though Celine Dion was my first placement, they made me this really super tight niched R&B kind of producer, and I had so much more to offer the world. You know what I'm saying? And so I would take time and take chances, because at those points, like, nobody was checking for a track of like Part of the List. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that if I could get it in Neo's ear, he would write to it, because he loves melodic stuff.
Right.
And so I took that chance and did that track, and it was on the album, man. You know, shout out to Neo. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Neo.
Okay.
You know, for just taking chances with me. You know what I'm saying? Both Part of the List and Stop This World. That was me showing a different side of myself. So
yeah.
And I love those albums, and I'm telling you, the You're the Gentleman is in my top 3. That is Amazing. I love the album, but you know, we're gonna keep it cute, but not even just that. You know, I'm so proud of you guys doing this, but not even that. I want to ask you, do you have any last words that you want to say since we are done with our beautiful interview? And make sure that everybody, you know, knows what's going on with you guys.
First of all, thank you for having us.
Yeah, this was
you
great.
did your homework, so this is anytime you need us, we're here. But thank you for the support. We want to ask everyone, keep the support up, because listen, the music is only about to get better. Heaven Bound comes out the 17th.
Yes.
And then the next week after that, the Shindellas have the first one of their new album coming out called Last Night Was Good for My Soul.
Ooh.
And totally different from Louis York's, but I'm talking about the jam of jams. It's a jam. I expect to hear from you when you hear it.
I'm a girl group head. My favorite group is DC. So I mean, I have no
choice. You're gonna love this song, and then from that point on, it's no stopping. It's just Louis York material all year, Shindellas music all year. We got a bunch of songs with other artists that we've been working on outside of even just Louis York Shindellas thing that coming. So yeah, it's full steam ahead for us, and follow us, share, please. We're indie, so spread the word.
I got you. Oh no, I got you. I'm just super proud of y'all. So yes, guys, and also in my box, also make sure you do follow Louis York. I do have their platform on the YouTube page. Also, will be on my IG page as well. Make sure you do follow them, and make sure you do honor them, and not even that. Make sure you support the music, because it's all about the music and the love of music, period. And I'm honored to have these guys on my platform. And we are done with our beautiful interview with the legends, the Grammy Award, Soul Alternative Group, the label owner of Widow Workshop, and one half of We Sound Crazy podcast, the one, the only, Louis York. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Chassie. We love you.
Bye. I love you guys too. Y'all better let me know when y'all get the next We Sound Crazy episode.
It's coming soon.
Thank you.